It's time for another Dice Tower review with Barry.
The Essen Spiel Fair is probably the largest gaming event in the world. Every year, hundreds of game designers and publishers get together to show off their hundreds of new games that they have designed and published. In Essen the game, you're playing someone who is attending the expedition for one day, and you have a wish list of games that you wish to buy. So obviously, in this game, you are trying to...
Shut the door!
No. You are running around and you are trying to...
Shut the door!
Will you stop that? You're running around and
Shut the door!
But you're trying to get as many of these games as you possibly can before the end of the day. How does it play? At the beginning of the game, you'll choose what colour you want to be. So I'll be green. So you get your meeple of your colour. You'll also get your little scoring token of your colour, which you add onto the score track. You'll also get a car boot of your colour to store your games in. You'll also get 300 euros, which you can spend on games. And you will also be passed one of these pass cards at random. And the player with the lowest number, that was number 3, will get the first player token. You will also get to choose one of these little tokens. Okay, as you can see, they're double-sided, male on one side, female on another, so just be Eric. And as you can see on the side of the board here, you have this action marker. And as you do actions, you move your token along there to show how many actions you've done. You will also be given 7 cards at the beginning of the game. Each player will get 7 cards and they need to draft a wish list. How do you do that? You say, well, you look at the 7 cards, you take one of them and then you put it face down in front of you so nobody knows what it is apart from you. The 6 cards that remain you pass to the player on your left, and the player on your right will pass you their 6, and then you pick another one, and you do this 4 times until you have 4 games. Then the other cards get put in this reserve here. And again, depending on the number of players, depends on how many cards are in the reserve. These are wish list cards which anyone can buy later on in the game to get extra points. And wish list cards, they give you extra points at the end of the game if you manage to have bought them. So here you see a 5-player game. All the leftover wish list cards go out like this. If there was only 2 people playing, then you'd only do these 2 rows here, because this is for 3, this is for 4. Okay, and these are wish list cards which anyone can get during the game. At the end of the game, you get bonus points depending on how many of the games you've bought from the wish list. There you go. The rest of the wish list cards go in a pile here. And then you have these 3 spaces here. This is bonus scoring for the end of the morning and the end of the day. There's 2 decks here. So at the beginning of the game, for the first 4 rounds, is the morning. And what you do is you just take at random 3 of these cards and add them here. Again, this is another bonus scoring section. So at the end of 2 o'clock, if you have 2 worker placement games and 2 card games, you'll get a bonus of 4 points with Board Game Geek. And then on Trick Track, as you can see, it's 2 worker placement and 2 speed games. Aha! Over here, you have the popularity track, and everything starts on a popularity of 2. So again, worker placement, dice rolling, card games, and speed games. Okay, when you buy a game of a particular type, you will get points depending on where this track is. It might be up and it might be down. In this car park area, you'll place the crowd markers, where the crowds are going to be, and you also place all the players' meeples at the start of the game. This here is the round tracker. This is how many rounds there'll be in the game. There'll be 7 rounds, and after round 4, the morning will be finished, and you'll do the extra bonus scoring for the morning, depending on what these cards are. and then you put out the afternoon cards for the afternoon. There's also a bucket load of tiles which you will sort out randomly, and you'll be placing these on each of these round. There's 6 in a pile each, okay, and you also take one of these end of day ones at random as well, so you don't know what's going to happen, so you don't know what games are going to come out at what time during the course of the day. You also put 6 out on these 6 spaces here. Now this changes some of the game. Okay, this top row here, what this dictates is the popularity of speed games goes down by 1. In this bottom row here, the popularity of meeple games will go up by 1, and dice rolling games will go up by 2 because there's 2 of them. Here we have crowds. Where are the crowds going to be? Well, there's going to be a crowd in the red hall and in the blue hall. It's dictated by the 2 color tiles there. So this crowd would go into the red hall, and this crowd would go into the blue hall, which is just off camera. Also, you'd get to take one of these question mark tokens and place one on each of these games. Now these give you some different events. Well, in this case they both say sold out, which means it's a game that you can only buy online, and you can only buy one of these as a pre-order game. There are also some which give you a flop, so it's -3 points when you buy it, or there's some which say that you get a discount. So there's all kinds of different bonuses there, which will be on these games throughout the game. Also, all the tiles that are left over, you will place these out. These are games which are available from the get-go, and they're all color-coded and number-coded, so you can find where they go on the board. Crokinole is purple and goes over there. There you go. Twin Robots is D4. I've sunk your battleship. So once you've placed out all the leftover games into their appropriate spaces, you can start playing the game. Start with the start player, so we're going to say Bridget here is our start player, and she's going to be yellow, and one of the actions that she can do is she can move, so she can move from the car park to the entry hall here, or the entry hall here. So we're going to go here for example, and that would cost 1 action point, so we'd move her token across 1 action point. If she's to move into any adjacent space, now adjacent does include diagonal, so let's say she moves here on top of Concordia, that would cost another action point. If she wished to move again, she could move over to this food court because it's diagonal and it's touching, so that's a possible move, and again 1 extra action point. Now the food court here has a special power. Whenever you spend 20 euros, you can go back to action points. So let's say she spent 20 euros, she goes 1, 2 back, and then she can carry on moving. Right, if we was to move into Wonder Games here, this is in a crowded area. As you can see, it's got the crowd there due to the fact that this game is blue, in the blue zone, so it's crowds. And when you move into a crowded zone, that costs 2 action points. And then moving into another blue zone will cost you another 2 action points. If she moved onto this space, it would cost her 2 action points again. And if she decided to buy this is another action you can do. You can buy a game. It doesn't cost an action point, but it will cost you the money marked on the token. So in this case, 15 euros. This game will give us automatically 1 victory point. And because it's a card game, we look at the popularity of card games, which is 2 at the moment. That would give us 2 victory points. So there she goes. She gets 3 victory points. This tile will then go into her bag. And as you can see, it blocks one of the action spaces. And so the more games you have, the less actions you can do. Now this marks the end of her turn. She cannot take any more actions now, which means that the gameplay goes to the next player, and then to the next player. And then once all players have played, that marks the end of a round. Another action that a player can do is they can play test a game if they wish. Okay, to play test, it would cost you 1 extra action point, but as you can see, Bridget can't do it. But what that would induce would be you draw 2 cards from the playtest deck. You draw them, you look at them, you choose one, and you add it to your hand of play test games, or wish list, sorry. And the other card goes back into the back. So this is another way of getting cards into your wish list, and then all you have to do is buy those games to get the extra points. After a while, your shopping bags will get filled up and filled up. As I said, you will have less and less action points to spend during your turn. What you need to do then is you need to make your way all the way back to the car park. And in the car park, you can offload these games in your bag into your car. And then you place these into their appropriate zones, like so. Oh, they're all card games. And then that frees up some action spaces, so you can carry on going and move. Here's another action that you can do. You can withdraw money from the bank here. Now, to do that, it would cost you 2 victory points. So you lose 2 victory points every time you want to draw out 50 euros. So say I wanted 200 euros, I'd have to reduce my score by -8 points. And at the moment, it's not possible. At the end of a round, when all players have done all their actions, what will happen is you put your token back at the start, and then these games will come out and be ready to be purchased. So you just simply place them on their designated zones. If they've got tokens on them, you need to keep them on there. What that means is you'll take this next pile of tokens, and then again you'll do this. So meeple games go down 1 in popularity. Green and blue means that the crowds go to the green and blue sections. Also, you then put tokens on them, so that one's -3 and that one's +1. And then these games will have their popularity will change as well. The first player token moves to the player on the left, and then that player starts having their goes. After the 4th round, as I said, the morning ends, and then you will score bonus points for any of these requirements you meet from Board Game Geek, Fair Play or Trick Track. And then you will replace those morning cards with afternoon cards, and these give a bonus of 8 points and different requirements that you'll need, of games that you'll need to buy to get those. After the 6th round, you go into the final round. The show is now closed, so visitors have to leave. You turn this over, and this will tell you something special, like for example this. For every meeple game you buy on this round, you get 2 points. Or you'll get this, which is every game is value of -10 euros. Or this one, which means the game immediately ends and that's it. Count up your scores. If you manage to get to the car park on the last round, you get a bonus of 6 points, and then the second player that gets to the car park will get a bonus of 3 points. Everyone else doesn't get a bonus. And then you look at your wish list cards and you see which ones of these that you have got. You count them up, and then you look at their bonus reference score and see how many bonus points you get. And then obviously the player with the highest score is the winner. Okay, Essen, the game, is a board game that everybody who's been to Essen can relate to, and you either like it or not. That's not a good reference, is it, Barry? No. This game has me broken in two. The mechanics of shopping and running around and picking up games, I can't really relate to it, but it works in this game. You know, your bag gets heavier, so you can't do as many actions, which is great, it works. There's lots of different random elements, like the different popularities will change in each game. You'll have the different midday scorings and end game scorings. You'll have different wish lists. The games will come out in different times. And then you have these little piddly tokens which give you like bonuses or not bonuses on different games each game. So there's lots of randomness that should make this game replayable. But after the second time you play it, you'll find it's really the same thing. It's a roll and move game without the roll. It's got some nice components, these nice big chunky tiles and the graphic layout which makes it easy to set up and see everything. But then again you have all this paper money which sticks together, so it takes ages to count. And then you have these nice cards which are really nice quality and nice size, not too big, not too small. But then you have these crummy arty tokens of people, or then you have these big meeple which are cool, but then you have these crowd tokens which will get lost in the crowd. And the less I say about these piddly tokens, the better. The score track's the wrong size as well. It's too small. It goes up to 49, but most games people will go past that. And these tokens are too big to go on the score track. It's a shame. There's a nice kind of unique game here, but it doesn't come through as fun. It comes through as just like, okay, I'm going to do that on this turn, I'm going to do that on that turn. You can screw other players over by like buying lots of games in one area, and hopefully one of those games is on their wish list. But it's not fun. It's just, there's nothing fun about it. You can try the different strategies. You could go for wish list bonus points, or you can go for just buy games which are very popular, which are hopefully popping up the nearest next to you. But that's the thing, it's a case of when everything pops up next to you, it's you've got to go there, or wherever the crowds are, stay away from them because they're going to sap up your action points. The rulebook is clear. You'll read it and understand how to play the game, unless you're like me and you'll read it second time and then you'll understand how to play the game. There you go, Essen the game. It's not bad, but it's not great. I'm debating whether to keep it or not due to the fact that it's got my name on the box. But anywho, did you enjoy my reviews? Well, you can check out plenty more of them on the Dice Tower. Just type in my name. Or you can check out my YouTube channel where I do some crazy stuff with board games, and it's called Barry Doublet. Yeah, that's me. And if you want to, again, you can go to Facebook and just like me there under Board Games Everybody Should. So that's it for now. Hope to catch you soon. Play more games. No, that's someone else's catchphrase. Can't use that.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.